Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Trainer's Lounge. Today we're going to talk about our voice. Ayan, kaya nga sabi natin, your voice matters. But this time we're going to talk about how to take care of your voice so that every time you face anyone or anumang training requirements yan, or whatever you do or whatever engagement you have, you will sound the best that you can be. And joining us later today is one of our CLDP graduates who will share his tips, experience, and also expertise about the subject matter. But anyways, before we proceed, don't forget to share our videos. Pakilagyan na rin ng like yan. And also, if you miss our episodes, don't worry. We upload all of our previous episodes in our Facebook page, that's CLDP Philippines, and also our YouTube page, which is Circa Logica Group. Ayan, so without further ado, let's get into it. Our guest for today is, has 12 years in training and Six Sigma Yellow Belt certified. And he is an L&D practitioner with over 50 courses or has run 50 courses, types of courses in his portfolio. Also, he is a choir master at San Beda's Abbey of Our Lady of Montserrat in Mendiola, Manila, and also a voice coach in singing. All right. Joining us today for the 17th episode of the Trainer's Lounge, let's welcome Mr. EJ Gualvez. And let's see, Mr. EJ. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, I'm EJ, and it's very nice to again connect with our web audience for this matter. Very important because right now it's a virtual space we are predominantly living in, and mostly what they hear is your voice, so make it matter.
Yeah, I see, right? With the current setup na mukha, sometimes wala pa nga mukha kasi
Oh, yeah,
depending on your internet
bandwidth,
connection.
yes.
Yeah, depending on your internet connection or the quality of your camera, sometimes you might not even have your face shown. So the voice really matters during this difficult times. Pero
Mhm.
lilipas din, ika nga.
Oo naman.
All right, well, Sir EJ, and as I've mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about our voice and how to take care of it, right?
Ayun. Yes. Excited. Excited to be part of this wonderful, wonderful session on the Trainer's Lounge.
Yeah, and sa mga viewers po natin, if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions or opinions in the matter, feel free to comment them and we'll get to them during the show or during the discussion. All right, well, Sir EJ, ready?
Yes, I am. Definitely. Definitely. Our voice, ano yan bentahe, no, ng lahat ng facilitators. In the learning and development sphere, our voice may be our main bread and butter when
Oh.
we speak, as we share knowledge, as we share whatever form of enablement there is on people. Our voice is what they hear, our voice is what they follow, what they get inspired by. And so it's not mainly our minds because our voices reflect our minds. Now, why did I say make it count, make it matter? Your voice will be someone's will stir someone's interest. Your voice will be a dictating theme whether someone will catch what you want to get across or not.
Mhm.
Very
Actually,
important.
I want to touch some ano dyan, no, some pointers with what you said. Yes,
Mm,
the voice of someone speaking in front of a class, in front of a crowd, really has an effect of how much the audience is willing to listen to you.
definitely.
It may sound a bit vain, but yeah, the quality of the voice, the way you deliver your lines, the way you deliver your lesson or whatnots actually has an effect. No, sometimes nga, I think I've read somewhere before that on your first 2 to 5 minutes of speaking engagement,
Yes.
doon magde-decide subconsciously sometimes, no? Subconsciously, the audience if they're going to give your full attention or if they will get
Right.
hooked by you. So yan. Well, anyways, I also mentioned earlier that you were a coach in singing. Is it in ano rin in San Beda's Abbey of Our Lady? of Montserrat.
Yes, and I
Uh,
also do private coaching on vocal singing. Now, how does it relate to what I do as an L&D practitioner? There are a lot of parallels because I love cross domain learning, no?
uh,
Learning from other fields so that I could apply it in learning and development. And one of the fields I love the most, closest to my heart, is music. I was singing since I was 5. I've been singing with my parents because my parents were also singers, and so I grew up in a family very with very keen ears and reading notes and making sure that everything goes smoothly and with blending. Um, and growing up with
mhm,
that kind of foundation allowed me to manage how I sound in interactions and during interactions. I make sure that I don't sound too condescending or overbearing whenever I speak. And perhaps I also brought it with me when I already went into the learning and development practice in HR primarily when I am already enabling people, helping people out. In carrying out my personal mission, my voice mattered. And when it's strained or not in perfect condition, the first thing to suffer would be my confidence or esteem. How I would get the message across and how I would impart messages on people. It's not safe or not beneficial for me.
Ayun, I see. Well, yeah, it's always good to have other channels of learning, ika nga. And yeah, that is
Mm-mm-mm.
true. Cross-platform learning is a big thing as well now.
True.
Sometimes you don't have to close yourself in one box, ika nga. Well,
Yes.
moving forward with our discussion for today, I want to ask first, no, in terms of facilitating training, uh, kamustahin muna kita. How are you coping up with this unique global situation that we have?
Nung una, I was pretty surprised because
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing live virtual classes and I've been doing it over, Teams or Zoom or whatnot, even before the pandemic. But never
Oh,
have I
mhm,
done this in this scale. So it's the magnitude was very big
mhm,
that the adjustment had to be so big too. Um, that's I think during the onset of the pandemic, March of 2020, when there was a sudden adaptation that had to be made, had to be done from face to face, which I've been used to in the past so and so years that I've been with training. Suddenly, di ba, Zoom. Paano mo ngayon i-adjust lahat ng activities mo? All the more the design of your modules or the design of your topics na uh, karaniwan ito mas magiging effective to if it's face to face. But how would you explain that to the participants who will now be in front of a monitor and you still need to deliver that same level of quality? Um, ang ano pa, ang masakla pa doon, like what you said earlier, Kevin, walang
mhm.
camera minsan. So, yung tipong, paano? So, where will they rely on in terms of learning? Voice. And that is my main challenge that well was because I found so many different principles that could help me out, but that was a challenge. Paano ko ano bang pwede kong gawin sa boses ko so that they could still have the same learning delivery matched with the design, matched with the flipping of the slides and all. Naging dilemma ko siya, but I was guided well because it's a blessing that I also attended some vocal lectures in the UP College of Music. And
Mhm.
primarily, the benefits were really amazing. One of the topics that we discussed was a technique I used so that I could conserve my voice, and not harm it during this pandemic season.
I see. All right. Well, I have to agree. It's a sudden shift na on this large of a scale.
It
No,
is.
I mean yung virtual training wasn't wasn't a new idea na nangyari lang during the
Yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah.
Uh, I I think I've already touched base with this with a few of our guests from before, and yun nga, it's it's just that the magnitude of how much change in the training
Mm-mm.
scene ang nangyari. So yeah, I hope everyone is or sa lahat po ng mga L&D practitioners natin dyan, no? Kahit na medyo matagal na. It's been what, a year now? Running 2 years ba?
Running two
Oh,
years.
running
Yeah.
2 years, no? It's been a while, but I hope everyone has coped, everyone has settled in this new normal na tinatawag natin. Pero
Mm-hmm.
lilipas din.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your ano naman, your experience with that. But now, uh, when we talk about voice, no, or how to take care of your voice, yes, it will gather some techniques, with those in the performing
Totoo.
business. Well, not to horn, not to toot my own horn. I did performance then when I was younger. I was in the musical theater group back in college.
Nice.
I did some bands when I was in college as well. And so, uh, I'm gonna be a hypocrite now kasi I do performance but I did not take care of my voice. I wasn't doing any exercises to take care of my voice. Well, tama na sa akin yung iinom ng tubig, la la la, open your mouths, massage, massage, but nothing too serious, no? Hindi ko talaga siya pinag-aralan. And I think today, let's share naman, no, some techniques to our viewers out there para malaman nila how to prepare and also to repair, actually, their
Mm-mm,
voice.
mm-mm.
Yeah, so,
Well, you're in it for a treat this afternoon because I will share my screen. This is
mhm,
one of the techniques we learned during the vocal lecture series done, and
mhm.
this is the Mccloskey technique. Let me
Ooh,
just
yeah.
share and check if
Mhm.
it's already flashed.
Yes. Well, you mentioned Mccloskey technique. Can you share something muna about that before we uh, do something or ay meron bang ano to exercise? Tama?
Meron, meron.
Ayun.
So this is gonna be a series of massages done on the external muscles of your body, of your face in particular. Kasi we would love for us to impact our larynx, yung voice box, kung saan nanggagaling yung boses natin. And kailangang ma-massage nyo. And interestingly, hindi naman
Mhm.
natin pwedeng masahihin yung larynx natin from within, no? So,
Masakit 'yun.
masakit yun. Paano? Uh, Interestingly,
Mhm.
McCloskey discovered a technique wherein all of your facial muscles
Mhm.
can help relax the larynx. Yes, they have a big impact on how your larynx will relax. And just like any other muscle in the body, pag relaxed po ang mga muscles natin, they function better. And
Mhm.
since our larynx is, it's just the same, ano po siya, kailangan niya ring ma-relax para mag-function siya ng better so that it can produce purer sound and it can, in the long term, help you in your profession. Now,
Mm.
how do you prepare your toolbox? So, tingnan na natin yung McCloskey principle. This is David Blair McCloskey. He's a baritone. So concert baritone siya. And he was very prominent in the 1920s, 1930s. But there was one iconic event that happened to him a week before his gala concert. So debut concert niya. A week before that, nawalan siya ng boses. A week before that. So he sought advice from the best voice teachers, the best doctors. To no avail. Hindi siya natulungan. So, ang binibigay sa kanya was a medical way of doing things like i-repair, mag-invasive
Surgery?
treatment, oo,
Ah,
like
okay.
titignan and then i-scope. Kaya lang, it was a week before his concert. Recovery period might not help him. Now, there was a rigorous series of researches done, and David McCloskey found the technique because he studied our oral cavity in connection with the facial muscles. Now, what did David McCloskey discover? David McCloskey said, and ito I quote, muscular interference tension and contraction where it should not be. Sabihin nating tense itong noo ko, yung muscle sa noo ko. It will cause some constriction in the larynx. Biruin mo, noo yun, pero it will
It will
impact
affect.
your larynx. Yes. And as simple as sabihin natin itong cheek muscle mo, kapag
Mm-hmm.
tense ito, it could also impact the larynx and affect the tone quality and vocal health. Um, as a facilitator, you wouldn't want that to happen because this is your bread and butter. If your voice is strained, in the long run, hindi mo mapapansin. But you might have, bakit palagi na lang akong nawawala ng boses? Or bakit laging may sore throat? It might be because of the continuous tension or contraction of the muscles where they should not be. No? And the method of Mccloskey is to free the external muscles of tension. Good thing, mabuti at soothing din yung paraan niya, no? How does it
Mm-hmm.
happen? First and foremost, proper posture. As a facilitator, when you stand up or when you sit in front of that laptop, proper posture is the answer. No? Yun muna before the technique. Para proper yung functioning ng voice mo. How do we know when you have the proper posture? Wag na nating yung kailangan yung back mo, ganyan, measure mo. Ano lang, kailangan yung tenga mo, so the lobe, the ear lobe, must be aligned with your shoulder. No,
Oh.
kaya kanina ko pa yun ginagawa. Your earlobe must be aligned with your shoulder to say that you have the proper posture for speaking and producing the voice, producing the sound. After which, i-relax nyo na by keeping your hands busy. So always remember, KYHB, keep your hands busy. Saan, EJ? Well, the 6 areas of relaxation would be
Mm-hmm.
number one, the face. Number two, the swallowing muscles. Later on, we'll have a glimpse of where the muscles are. The tongue, dila nyo, also has impact to the larynx. And also, the jaw, and also the head and the neck. They ultimately impact the larynx or the voice box.
Ayun.
Okay, now, sisimulan na natin siya. So for your face, kailangan lang natin siyang i-massage in circular motion. So all the
Ayun.
fingers, yan. Massage,
Regardless ba
massage.
if it's outwards or inwards?
Yes, regardless. So
Regardless.
clockwise, counterclockwise, basta yung mga fingers and your entire hands are moving. Keep them busy. So hanggang maramdaman ninyo na nagre-relax na yung muscles ko. Sometimes galit na galit yung mga muscles diyan, no? And when you speak, lalo na parang mahihigit yung mo, yung lalamunan mo. So it's not healthy. It's not healthy for a facilitator. So you need to relax these facial muscles. So sa
Mm-hmm.
temples at
Mm-hmm.
sa noo, after which dito naman sa cheeks and sa jaw. So again, circular motion sa cheeks and sa jaw.
Mm-hmm.
And normally, you would stay in this area because ito yung pinakagamit na part ng face ninyo.
Because of the
When
joint,
you,
right?
because of the jaw and the cheeks. Kasi pag nagsasalita kayo, movement happens all the time. So keep your hands busy over here. May mararamdamang sakit sometimes when you touch the cheek muscle kasi ibig sabihin, you might be overworking it. So kailangan
Okay.
i-relax yon. Now, sa after nung face and the jaw, the swallowing muscles. Nasaan ang swallowing muscles natin? We have that at the back of our chin.
Mm.
So, pag naramdaman niyo yung baba na bone, yung likod nun ay muscle. Now, damhin muna, is the muscle like kutsinta or marshmallow? Kapag ka kutsin, syempre pagkain, pagkain. Ah, kapag kutsinta ang texture niya, ibig sabihin,
Okay.
hindi
Tense.
tension, ibig sabihin hindi
Okay.
naka-relax. If
Kasi mas
it's
malambot.
marshmallow, oo,
Mhm, mhm.
marshmallow-like, mas malambot siya.
I see.
So, imamassage nyo siya by pushing using your thumb, papasok. No,
Mhm.
papasok, pag ganon. Imamassage nyo siya hanggang sa lumambot, mag-transform into a marshmallow texture, yung muscle. After the swallowing muscles, it's the tongue. So,
Ay,
Kailangan
kailangan ba
din siyang,
mag-alcohol?
so yeah, hindi siya ima-massage na ganyan, but no, hindi, but you need to put it out. You stick it out, but not
Okay.
too much like this in the picture. Mali po yan. So what we will just do is just stick it out a few inches or a few centimeters and then pull it back. So again,
Mm.
stick it out, pull it back, stick it out, pull it back. Not in a quick fashion. Relax nyo lang din. After that, what we can do, so after ipasok yung tongue, wag po nating ilabas lang yung tongue kasi medyo ano tayo nun, mukha oddly looking pag nakalabas lang siya. So the jaw is up next, and
Mhm.
not that dropping that you see on the picture. Hindi din po yan. Just a normal drop like
Ah.
just like when you say and then pull it back up, so that your jaw is also relaxed.
Mhm.
Afterwards, the head and the neck. And para naman ma-relax ang head and neck, ang joints kasi ng katawan natin, ano gusto niya, nagmo-move.
Mhm.
So, the head and the neck muscles are attached to joints. That's why you need to keep them moving. So, nod them. And then, what you need to do is to face to the right. So, nod while
Like,
facing the right so that there's a stretch, and
okay.
then face to the left so that there's also a stretch. So nod, nod, nod until the head and the neck are relaxed. After which, you would feel a more open type of larynx. So mas bukas, mas relaxed, mas kaya mo magsalita.
Mm. I see. All right. So these are things that they can do before, right?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Mhm.
Pwede naman nilang ma-research how the Mccloskey technique is. We could also be available to get them the different parts just in case they missed out on any. Or this recording, maganda. Magandang reference yun na ano bang kailangan kong gawin as a facilitator for my larynx to be well conserved. That is a technique of operatic singers, and that it's also working fine for speakers like us.
Mhm. Well, actually, I feel no since I did it when you were talking about it, since I did it while you were talking about it. Mas ramdam ko na I have a muscle here, I have some muscles here. No,
Mm,
I think it
mm.
will help nga naman na. I think with bodybuilding, it's the same. It's the same concept na once you work out a certain muscle, you'll feel yung mararamdaman mo na siya na aware ka na
Mm.
nandyan siya and it will be a part of how you move and well in this case how you speak kasi affect sabi mo nga these muscles affect the
The
larynx
voice
and
box, yes.
once you get some blood flowing into them siguro it's, the exercise does that yeah
Hmm.
you can actually feel the difference ayan.
Yeah, and right now I'm working on my head and my neck.
I see. Well, with the Mccloskey technique, ano naman yung mga masasabi nating benefits? What are the benefits of it? Or if you use it every now and then or every day, ano yung mga differences? Yan.
Mccloskey prescribed it every day. So
Every day. Okay.
before you speak in the morning, do the Mccloskey relaxation techniques, and you're good to go. Also, what are the benefits? Well, long term, it helps take care of your larynx. Hindi siya basta-basta nag-wear and tear. And with regard to your speaking, this is also what judges in singing competitions look for. Now, if you have a legit judge singing there, ang hinahanap nila is not a manufactured voice. Because sometimes, as facilitators, forced yung boses natin. No, that's because something in here or in the face ay tense. Kaya nag-sound siya na manufactured. Hindi po. We need a pure voice. We need something that would allow the people to um, get inspired by, that will allow the people to um, al- how do I say it, allow the people to listen without them feeling fatigued, no? Because kapag napagod sila kakakinig sa'yo, that will also not um, get that into inspiration, or what do I say, Learning,
Mhm.
knowledge download, knowledge transfer, wala.
Ayun, I see. Well, aside from this physical massage na technique ni McCloskey, are there any tips na pwede pa natin gawin na train or pre-speaking engagement?
Well, pre-speaking, um, one is you should get enough rest.
Ayun.
Kasi just like any muscle in the body, your
Mhm.
larynx would need rest. Um, Isa pa, hydrate.
Hydrate.
But the Mccloskey technique and hydration should be done before and during the speaking engagements. Kasi one trivia, ladies and gents, um, it takes 3 hours. So akala natin pag uminom tayo, no, okay na, moist na yung ano yung lalamunan ko.
Mhm.
But you know that it takes 3 hours before the moisture gets inside.
Oh.
So you need to hydrate even before your speaking engagement.
Hindi yung a
Otherwise,
minute before, 5 minutes
ay
before
nako, hindi.
iinom ka. Ayan. Wala din
Ikaw lang ang
mangyayari.
ikaw lang malulunod nun. What will happen is that you will still strain your vocal
Mhm.
cords.
I
And that
see.
is not healthy.
Oh, so if you're looking into hydrating it properly, dapat 3 hours
three
before.
hours before. At saka, ano yan, frequent. So, for example,
Mhm.
nagsispeak ka, make sure na
You
kapag
just take a sip. Mhm.
pag naramdaman mo na, oops, parang may tusok na sa pagsasalita, inom na. Ganon.
I see. All right. Well, how about yung mga ano naman, yung mga products na tinitake like ano kasing candy yun, yung color brown,
Lozenges,
oh,
Paypakwa,
lozenges. Ayun, pipa ko.
Paypakwa. Well, hindi naman tayo hindi tayo sponsor ng Paypakwa, but I used to have a bottle of Paypakwa, hindi yung candy form niya.
Ano siya,
You know,
liquid form?
meron siyang liquid form.
Hindi ko alam yun.
Interestingly, Paypakwa had snake bile. So it helps in soothing the voice kasi it's
Wow.
originally a cough syrup. Hindi siya
Mhm.
pampaganda ng hindi siya pang
Boses.
singing contest. Oo,
Oo.
hindi siya pang speaking engagement. It's a syrup na panggamot ng ubo. It
I
so happened
see.
na nakakaganda talaga siya ng boses. So,
Oh.
yun ang
Yeah,
ano doon.
Because because I remember when we were doing live shows, makikita mo sa backstage may isang pack ng pay pakwa, ayun. And
Oo.
then I thought, this is really ano ba to? Hindi ba candy lang to? Something like that, things like that. So it
Well,
helps in a way.
it helps, but the candy form, I am not so sure because it has sugar.
Yeah, yun
Um,
nga, the sugar thing.
Yun. And yung lozenges, may debate din around it. Some people support na mag-lozenge ka if if your throat is sore or if your voice box is sore.
Mhm.
Meron namang sinasabi na nope, wag ka mag-lozenges, just take it the natural route, rest, and then magmumug ka ng tubig na may asin, and then always hydrate. Yun lang yung sinasabi. You know, those are principles, and those are ideologies.
Mhm.
um, Ako, I have my own, and I still stand by. I need to massage my face in order for my larynx to get well rested, and I need to always support what my mother and father taught me. Isa pa, yung malamig, yes, pero ang sinasabi naman kasi ng ilang ENT, no, na
Mhm.
nakausap ko rin, would be ang malamig din, pag inom ng malamig soothes the, 'di ba, parang ikaw kino-cold compress mo kapag ka may
Yeah,
maga,
yung muscle. Oo,
gano'n.
true.
So gano'n din. So
Same
pero
principle
'wag lang siya mayat-maya because the muscle gets overworked.
naman. I see. So,
Mm.
ayun. So, pwede po uminom ng malamig. Wag lang
Oo,
marami.
'wag lang marami.
Yeah. I see. All right. Well, those are some of the techniques that we can do prior to your speaking
Mm.
engagement. Ngayon
Yes.
naman, let's go during, no? Kasi I've had experiences, conducting trainings that runs for the whole day, like 4 hours in the morning and then 4 hours in the afternoon. Isang oras lang yung pahinga or some minutes in between. But yeah, it's kind of hard on the voice. It's kind of hard on the muscles that we use when speaking. Now, are there any techniques naman designed to take care of our voices while we are engaged in the speaking
Mm.
task?
Kind of like what I mentioned earlier, hydration
Mm-hmm.
still works.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are a couple which I would love to share with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Number one is energy management.
Mm-hmm.
Maraming facilitators akong nakilala in the stint na masyado silang energetic at the onset of the session. And they would say, welcome, welcome everybody to
I
the,
see.
the, the
Okay, okay.
di ba, yung mga sobrang, yung may pounds ng energy
Explosive
talaga na,
agad,
whoo!
oo.
As a facilitator, parang excited ka kasi to welcome everybody. But the thing is, if you cannot manage your energy well, so will your throat, so will your voice box. It will parang hihilahin siya nung kawalan ng energy. Kapag nangyari yon, mafo-force ka na lang magsalita and you wouldn't want that because a phoning, a manufactured voice is not something that people will easily believe in,
Appreciate. Oo.
appreciate, or listen to,
Mhm.
hindi siya advisable. So yun, always manage your energy. Hindi pwedeng up 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 tapos down na pabagsak na towards the end of the session. You need to make sure na merong downtime, may uptime, downtime, uptime. And this also goes with your facilitation technique, kasi your facilitation technique and the design of your modules should also cooperate with how your voice box is built. Hindi siya basta-basta lang na, sige, maganda yung design, run natin siya, ganyan. You check. You check. If I run this, will I have downtime to even hydrate? Will I have
Ah.
downtime to even rest my voice while they're having an activity? Kasi kung wala, you need to recheck some moments there.
So not just the content, not just the schedule, but also how it will run through. I see.
Yep. Yep.
Yun.
Another technique uh, and habit, if I may say,
Habit.
is
Okay.
diaphragmatic speaking. Bakit? You must have the breath work for you to get supported well. So hindi lang
Mm-hmm.
yung voice box mo ang nag-work, your lungs also work. Bakit diaphragmatic? Kasi ibig sabihin, kapag ka yung diaphragm mo na push pababa, ibig sabihin yung lungs mo is well expanded. So you have air
Mm.
supply. Dahil kapag hindi enough ang air supply, nagagasgas si voice box.
Oh, I see. Is it the same? Is it the same principle when they teach singing? Sing with your diaphragm, not with your throat, something like that.
Oh, yeah, in a way, but you also have your throat in the process kasi siya naman
Mm-hmm.
talaga yung nagpo-produce ng sound.
Actually,
No? Pag tinanggal mo siya, wala talaga, hangin lang yan.
oo.
Pero hindi dapat nasa-strain yung throat mo as you speak and as you sing. In facilitating, you have to have a lot of air. So, huminga ka muna, then
Mhm.
you speak. Hindi yung hinahabol mo na yung hininga mo, hindi pa tapos yung sentence mo, that strains the
Oo.
throat.
Tapos
So
biglang,
this is also, ayun, and then biglang hihinga ka. That's also a tip for facilitators na hindi pwedeng ang hininga ninyo ay hindi nagko-compensate sa mga sinasabi ninyo. Phrase them well so that you could still breathe. You have a lot of air supply.
ayun. Alright, I
Yun.
see, I get it. Ayun. And, well, I think it also has something to do with no checking then yung if you do scripts. I believe some trainers do that. They have
Mhm.
scripts. No, if you do scripts, you gotta also check how will you deliver the lines, no, or if there are
Right.
specific points in the training na, oh, okay, I should say this slow or I should cut this sentence, things like that. Mga simple
Yes.
adjustments like that just to make sure yun nga, that you can support your voice all throughout the session. I
Right.
think nung bago-baguhan ako, yeah, I think I had moments like that na parang feeling ko, I have to finish this sentence. Tapos yung hininga ko, patapos na rin. So, yeah, okay. So, I think I got the diaphragmatic
Yeah,
speaking.
speaking.
Ayun.
Yep. And also, yung Mccloskey technique, i-check
Mm-hmm.
mo sa mukha mo kung may tense na. Kasi sometimes,
Mm.
yes, relaxed siya when you start, But as you go along,
Yeah, no
hindi natin
workout sila.
napapansin, oo, nakikarried away ka eh. So, your emotions, your expression, natitense yung ibang part. So, check mo. Siguro pag break, ganun-ganun lang. Ito tense. So, ito. So, i-relax ulit. No? Parang i-reset mo siya to how your muscle will recognize itself when it's relaxed. And you know
Mm,
what's the most interesting part about it? If your muscles, may muscle memory kasi tayo.
yeah.
And when your muscles remember how it is to relax, mas madali na sa inyong i-relax ang throat ninyo.
That's why it is suggested to be done every day.
Every day,
See.
yes. Every
All
day.
right. Pero wag niyo naman sigurong gagawin while you're speaking.
Or
That's
very
weird.
awkward naman. Yes, guys. Yes, everybody, no? Medyo
All
ano
right.
yun, odd,
Uh,
weird.
that's why it's called check lang. Ayan. So if you have some downtime
Mm-mm.
during the discussion, yun, siguro singit lang kayo outside or turn
Hmm?
off well, in this case, turn off your cameras for a while, then check lang.
Right?
Massage, massage.
Okay ba?
Tense na ba?
Tense
Tense
ba?
na ba?
Tense na ba? Ang lalamunan ko, kumusta? Ganon.
Yeah, ayun. All right. Well, Sir EJ, actually, we have one here. Si Samuel Aguinaldo. Thank you so much for watching the show, Sam. He has a question here. How do you
Yeah,
make your vocal cords stronger? Mm.
maganda. Well, interesting yung question, but I will answer that in a, how do I say it? Kasi may affirmative. So may negative form.
Mm-hmm.
By not doing the following. So you can make your vocal cord stronger by not doing the following.
Mm.
Uh, Sabihin nating straining it after at an intense or prolonged speaking engagement. That's number one. Kasi pag na-overwork siya ng na-overwork
Mm-hmm.
at namaga siya, it's becoming weaker and weaker. So, hindi natin, and the range of your voice, kadalasan kakapal kapag ka masyadong napapagod. Dahil muscle siya
Mm-hmm.
eh. So,
Mm-hmm.
pag,
Yeah.
pag ang muscle namaga siya, nag-swell, so, ang tunog din niya pag nag-flap, makapal. Yon. So it's not gonna make it stronger. It's gonna make it weaker. Isa pa, bad habits. I am so sorry to drop this, but vices like smoking, drinking,
Ayun na.
affect the vocal cords. If you're aiming to strengthen your vocal cords as a facilitator, there has to be a compromise somewhere. Ayan. I'm not gonna say drop it, but I just say there has to be a compromise somewhere.
Okay.
Uh, yun yung mga pwede kong ibigay. And a whole lot more of scientific tips that you can research on kung alin yung bawal. Merong mga, kasi may mga nire-research ako but there's no full parang studies to it. Like if you take citrus, yun, sinasabi nila na nakaka-weaken ng vocal cords. Hindi naman. Meron din akong na-research na kapag ka nagkaubo ka or
Mm-hmm.
nagkasipon and you did not manage it well, say hindi ka naggamot or hindi mo tinreat agad, chances are your larynxes get affected.
Okay, I
Ganon.
see. So ayun, Samuel, I hope you were able to catch that. No, thank you so much for that wonderful question. Wow. I guess there are things naman talaga dapat na gawin or i-follow. Kasi yeah, as you said, it is a
Mhm.
muscle, and like any other muscle, if you work it properly, it will hindi naman sa lalakas siya, but rather
It
it
will serve you.
will
Mm-mm.
serve you better yun. And if you
Right.
abuse it, of course, it will not work as intended.
True. Totoo.
Ayan.
Mabubuisit lang kayo as a facilitator.
I see. Ayan. Well, now, we've talked about before, during, and now after. So, let's say, ayan, isang araw kang nagsasalita, or you're done with a day of facilitating or teaching. How
Mm.
about now? No, how do we ensure our voices are preserved? Ayan.
Yun. Gusto ko yung term na preserved kasi ang gusto ko din naman for everybody is aware sila of how their voices sound before and after
Mhm.
a session. Maririnig mo naman if it's worn out during a session. Ibig sabihin, kapag ka worn out siya, it's either hindi mo na-hydrate properly during the session,
Mhm.
or hindi mo na-observe kung tense na yung mga muscles, so nagta-tighten din siya. Kapag ka nawawala, wala, nagbe-break yung boses mo, ibig sabihin, that is also a sign na worn out siya. Kaya pag worn out siya, just like any muscle, pahinga.
Pahinga.
After the session, you need to rest it. As much as possible, if you don't want to speak, huwag kang magsalita.
Ayun.
Also, but it's more musical in nature na kasi medyo pitch ano na siya.
Ah,
Stay within your pitch range. Huwag ka
mm,
masyadong tumili ng tumili kung kasi pag nag-flap yan ng out of range
oo,
yung ano mo, yung boses mo, strain din 'yon.
mhm.
Pag masyadong mababa naman from your range, strain pa rin 'yon. If we do not take care of it in the long run, it will make our sounds less interesting to listen to.
I see. Okay. Well, we have one here, Sir EJ. No, another question coming from our viewers, from Jester Bilua, and thank you so much for watching and supporting us. How not to sound condescending, especially if you naturally speak loud. Mm.
Ayun. Jester, thank you for the question. Condescending means that you sound like you know more than the other person. Naturally speaking loud, it's a combination, Jester, of the ear and your voice. So the ear, if you're aware that you are naturally speaking loud, then adjust.
Mm-hmm.
Your volume will always, I can speak like this and, soft, but I can still be heard. Na?
Mm.
And I can speak loudly, but I will have my diaphragmatic speaking. Kasi, ito yung maganda palang topic to because if you do diaphragmatic speaking, I can speak loud like that, pero buo yung tunog.
Mm.
In the meantime, kapag naman throat lang yung pinang-support mo, kulang ka ng air supply or tense yung boses mo, I can speak like this. Basag siya. Basag siya. So, incomplete yung tunog, wala yung fullness. 'Di ba? I can speak like this versus I can speak like ganan. Um, hindi din mabuti para sa
Ah.
boses. Not to sound condescending, it's an intonation mainly, and it's an intonation concern. For example, kapag sinabi mong hindi mo alam 'yon, that is a condescending statement. Mainly because of the phrase and the
Mm-hmm.
tone, the
And the tone.
intonation where it was placed. Kapag sinabi mo siguro, kapag condescending kasi, you have to also mind how go your on your highs and lows para hindi ka na mislead, na misinterpret na bakit parang ang tanga ko, parang hindi ako marunong, ganon.
Oh, ang sama naman, di
Mm-mm.
ba?
So again, it's a combination of your ear and your voice.
Mhm.
Bakit ear? Kasi you want to listen to your highs and lows. You also want to listen to your phrasing.
Ayun. All right. So,
Yun.
Jester, hope you were able to catch that. Thank you for that wonderful question. Well, moving forward, though, Sir EJ, I
Mm.
wanted to ask as well, what happens if hindi mo alam or hindi mo fina-follow yung mga usapan natin during this discussion? What happens if we do not take care of our voices as facilitators?
Well, right now, you may not feel it, but believe me, if you want to build a career in facilitating,
Ayan.
um, this is my personal mission. That's why I really take care of my bread and butter, which is my voice. So, kung ikaw ay hindi mo nararamdaman ngayon, but you're not taking care of your larynx, in the long run, it will take its toll on you. In the long run, you may not feel it at this point,
Mhm.
um, but there were facilitators I've run into, I've chanced upon, which didn't sound how they were in the past. And they were telling me, nagkaroon ako ng ubo, hindi ko inalagaan. After nun, yung range ng boses ko, hindi ko na ma-emphasize yung ganito, hindi ko na masyadong ganon. And that's scary for a facilitator because at this point, in a virtual setup, in a hybrid setup, kailangan mong maging mas creative, malaro sa boses mo. You need to recreate it, reinvent all the things, including your voice, in such a way that learning is still delivered and optimum quality is still delivered in learning.
I see. Well, it also will no. I think sometimes it will also affect your confidence, right? If you
Yes.
don't speak, if I think all of us know when our voice sounds their best. No, I think we
True.
have unconsciously, no, we know na okay, ang ganda ng boses ko today. May ganun tayo eh. Na, ay, oy,
Makapag-record nga, gano'n.
oy, ayun, di ba? Ay, nakamood yung voice ko. And if you find yourself often not, feeling that, especially if you have sunod-sunod na speaking engagements and you think to yourself, parang wala sa mood yung voice ko, parang masakit, parang ganyan. I think it will affect your confidence in
Is
facing
totoo.
your audience, your students, or your participants and whatnot. So yeah, taking care of it has a huge impact, no? It's one of the things na hindi natin masyadong pinag-uusapan in terms of L&D, but it's there. Yun, but it's there. All
Yep.
right. Well, we have another question here from James Paul Binala. Thank you so much for watching. Does clearing your throat often can damage your vocal cords? Siguro yung ano siguro yun.
Yung
Oo.
okay naman siya. Wala namang mali po, 'no, when you clear your throat. Kasi pava-vibratein mo ang vocal cords mo to clear off, yung mga phlegm na nakasabit, 'no, ayun. Siyempre meron tayong mucus, eh, siyempre ano 'yan,
Mm.
I mean, ah, ano 'to, gross things aside, ah meron talagang gano'n. And even if you do the Mccloskey technique, sometimes 'pag minasahe mo na 'yan at nag-relax uubuhin ka. Why?
Ah.
Nalalaglag yung mga, mucus na nakakabit diyan sa larynx mo, nagre-relax
Mhm.
kasi siya. So, magsa-start ka ding makaramdam ng kate, ng ano,
Mhm.
and clearing your throat will not damage your vocal cords if it's done with caution.
Hindi naman yung pilit na.
Oo, na parang ubo na siya, so hindi na siya clearing your
Oo.
throat. At saka kapagka pina-vibrate mo lang, hindi mo naman kailangang, ah, ah, medyo ano na
Ayun.
'yun, ibang usapan na siya.
Siguro make sure na rin, no, that if you do that, the purpose is to clear talaga yung
Yes.
uh, airway natin, the larynx. And if you feel na masakit siya, then I think may sakit ka nun. I mean, in terms of may cold ka siguro, ganyan, or may phlegm talaga
Oo.
siya. So, yun. So, look out for that. But if it's a habit na ginagawa mo, if it doesn't hurt, let's put it that way siguro. If it doesn't hurt, if gentle vibration lang yung nararamdaman mo, I think it will not affect your larynx
Mm.
that much. Ayun.
Hydrate, 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 hydrate.
Alright, so James, I hope you were able to catch that. And I guess this is my last question for this topic. Ayan, no?
Okay.
Any forms naman of health that we can see? What if hindi enough yung mga pinag-usapan natin, or maybe medyo seryoso na yung problem, no?
Mm.
What else can we do?
Well, number one is you could seek help from either a voice teacher or a doctor of voice. Um,
Mm.
Kasi makakaalam yan. They can peek through it and check kung mayroong nangyayari sa ating lalamunan. Um, they could also be our partners in terms of properly aligning and placing our voices so that they're well preserved in the process. Hindi pwedeng basta-basta bara-bara lang tayo magsalita na mahirap eh. As a facilitator, you need to have the effect of modulation in you all the time. Otherwise, hindi ka, number one, hindi ka pakikinggan masyado, masakit sa
Mhm.
tenga. Number two, di bale sana kung magaling kang, di ba, magsalita, the words might compensate the quality of the voice.
The quality of the voice.
Oo, pero may mga times na kung ihahabol mo lang din, ikaw din mismo, mahihirapan ka dun sa delivery, wag na lang. Let's be proper and let's take care of our larynx. Isa pa, um, merong times na you can ask your peers how I sound,
Mm-hmm.
'di ba? Yung, how do I sound? Do I sound okay, offensive? Do I sound mataray when I deliver this piece? Do I sound uh, is this something that would allow them to realize? Ganon.
Mm-hmm.
So support will help. Definitely, support will help you improve your condition. And self-help, wag tayo mag-self-diagnose, please. Kung may nararamdaman tayo, chances are there's something that needs to be done there. Hopefully, the teacher is a Mccloskey trained teacher, or the doctor knows muscles, extrinsic muscles, in relation to the larynx. Yun.
Ayun, alright. So, ayun po. To all our viewers and supporters right now, I hope you were able to grasp the ideas behind taking care of your voice. And thank you so much, Sir EJ, for helping us out this day. And your expertise and your experience played a lot of a role in explaining to our audience, no? Paano nga ba natin aalagaan ang ating voice? And well, before we end the show, is there anything that you would like to share?
Well, one for Tenet Global Business Center, we have an opening for an instructional designer. We also have openings for human resources. If you'd wish to apply, then please submit CVs to us. That's everything.
Yun.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much again, Mr. EJ, and I hope we can still find another topic, no, that we can talk about here at the Trainers Lounge.
Why
But
not?
anyway, well, that's all for today, Muna, Sir EJ. Hope to see you again in our show, and have a great day. Thank you so much.
Likewise, and everybody, bye bye.
And that was a Mr. EJ Gualvez, CLDP. Wow. I think I agree 100% dun sa sinabi niya earlier that as facilitators, as training professionals, our voice is our moneymaker na rin. No, besides the contents that we develop, besides the training plans that we create, our voice is the one thing that, you know, turns that into reality. The knowledges that we come up with, the techniques that we come up with, is transferred through our voice if it's done, you know, in a traditional training setup. Now, hopefully, no, in the future, all of us will be more aware of how our voice can be taken care of and how we can use it to its fullest. And that is all for today's episode. See you again next time in the show where we talk about anything and everything about L&D. This is the Trainers Lounge. Till next time. Bye-bye.